Hey everybody, it's Angie and welcome to Hot and Flashy. Today's video is on 5 skincare mistakes that you might be making that are aging your skin. Now, these are all mistakes that I've made in the past, so don't feel bad. I never want to make anyone feel bad about what they're doing. It's just that with the way that skincare is these days, that everybody is so into it, that a lot of times we're unknowingly making mistakes that are actually aging our skin. And if you love talking skincare, go ahead and subscribe to my channel, hit the notification bell. I noticed that YouTube has conveniently put them all together in one little button that pops up and you can choose what level of notification you want in there. So give that a try so that you'll be notified every time I upload a new video. So let's get into the 5 skincare mistakes that are aging your skin. Number 1 is not using enough sunscreen or thinking that the sunscreen in your makeup is giving you protection against the damaging rays of the sun. I think that by now everyone knows that they should use sunscreen every single day. I think you've all heard the message and gotten the message that the sun's rays really do damage your skin, especially those UVA rays. The A tends to stand for aging, is a good way to remember it. And so while most people now are wearing sunscreen every single day, which is awesome, a lot of people still don't know that there's a certain amount that you need to wear to really protect your skin and to get the SPF number on the label. The way that sunscreen gets its number on the label is that they test it in the lab and they put it on in a certain amount, and it's a standardized amount across the board. So if you're using less than the amount than they tested to get the number on the label, then you're going to be getting less sun protection than the number on the label. What it translates out to for the average face and neck is about 1/4 to 1/2 teaspoon. But if you're using the amount of sunscreen that most people use, which is about, I'd say, this much for the face, you're not getting nearly the amount of sunscreen coverage that you need. That's about 1/16 of what you need, so you are cutting the SPF way down to maybe an SPF of 2 or 4. That leaves your skin mainly unprotected, and so you really need to up your sunscreen level. This is also the amount of foundation that most people use every day, so if there's sunscreen in your foundation and you're only putting on 1 pump of foundation, again, you're getting only 1/16 of the amount of sunscreen that you actually need. Do you need to take 1/4 teaspoon into your bathroom and measure it out every day? You don't. I mean, I actually have a little 1/4 teaspoon that I use to measure my sunscreen a lot, especially when I'm testing it. But I think you can measure it like the first time, see how much it is, and then you can get the general feel for it. The other recommendation that I've seen is to use the finger method, where you're going to apply stripes of sunscreen down your fingers, and that's going to equal about 1/4 teaspoon. So if you take 3 lines of sunscreen like this and just line it up on your fingers, that translates to about 1/4 teaspoon. Now I'm just going to scrape it off with my 1/4 teaspoon to show you, and that is just about a perfect 1/4 teaspoon of sunscreen. So I really like the 3 fingers method. There are things that you have on you every day, and it makes it really easy and convenient to measure out your sunscreen. So just what you need to remember is that sunscreen, no matter whether it's in a tinted moisturizer or a sunscreen or a foundation, it's always dose dependent. And so you always need to be putting on that 1/4 teaspoon of whatever product it is to get the full SPF on the label. If you're older and you already have some sun damage, it's okay to start using sunscreen now, because the more that your skin doesn't have to fight to undo the damage that the sun has done during the day, the more that your skin can heal itself. We have very few organs in our body that can actually heal themselves, but skin is one of them. And the more that you protect your skin from the sun, keep it out of the sun, wear sunscreen, the more your skin can heal past sun damage. So sunscreen is always a good idea no matter what age you are. And if you haven't been able to find a sunscreen yet that you're willing to use in that amount, just wanted to recommend a couple of really good ones here for you. My holy grail sunscreen currently is the Undefined R&R sunscreen. This is a fantastic sunscreen. It's an SPF 50 with a PA++++ rating, which means that's the highest rating for UVA rays. Those are the aging rays. This is a really beautiful runny liquid that you can do the 3-finger method with. It's very silky. It feels very hydrating on the skin. It's a mineral sunscreen with a fairly light tint. This is my favorite. I love it and wear it just about every day. Then another holy grail sunscreen of mine that I've been using for years is the Elta MD UV Elements SPF 44. This is also a tinted mineral. This one is also hydrating, but it's more of a standard lotion, but it's not super heavy. Then if you're someone who hates the greasy feeling of sunscreen and you've never met a sunscreen that you liked, you might try the Babo Botanicals Daily Sheer Fluid Tinted Mineral Sunscreen. This is also an SPF 50, and this one is so lightweight. It sets up to a matte finish. It's really, really beautiful on the skin, so give that one a try. But if you have a weed allergy, don't use this one. Skincare mistake number 2 is not starting on a retinoid early enough or young enough. I didn't start using a retinoid until I was 50. Same with sunscreen, right? I really wasn't into skincare. I didn't do much for my skin before I turned 50, but you know what? When I turned 50, I had a crisis over what my skin looked like. I felt my skin looked so much older than my chronological age. And while I'm so happy that I started on a prescription retinoid when I turned 50, and I've seen the amazing things that it has done for my skin over the last 10 years, I'm so bummed that I didn't start it sooner, because tretinoin is really the gold standard of anti-aging. It is a thing with the most research behind it. It can actually make a change to your skin on the cellular level. Your skin has retinoid receptors in it that respond to all trans retinoic acid. And when they get all trans retinoic acid, which is in tretinoin, they start creating more collagen. Tretinoin started as an acne medication, and I guess I'm fortunate that I didn't have bad acne when I was younger, but a lot of people who started on retinoids when they were in their 20s because of acne and just stayed on it for their entire adult life, they have the most beautiful skin, especially if they use sunscreen with it. They are not having to do Botox or filler or get laser treatments. If you've never used a retinoid before, a good starter retinoid is an over-the-counter retinol, or the product that I prefer is an over-the-counter retinaldehyde. This one's from Maylove. It's called their Moonlight Retinol Serum. The difference between retinol, retinaldehyde, and tretinoin is that, as I said, your skin is looking for all trans retinoic acid, and that's what tretinoin already is. So it's considered 20 times stronger than retinol, because retinol has to go through a 2-step conversion in your skin before it becomes all trans retinoic acid that your skin can recognize and use. And while a little bit of that conversion probably happens, it might not be a huge amount, but it is a good place to start, especially since the retinoids can be irritating. So if you want to start with a retinol and get your skin worked up to it, especially if you have sensitive skin and you're not sure about using one, that's a great way to go. Retinaldehyde is going to be stronger than retinol because it only has to go through a 1-step conversion in your skin. So it's probably considered 10 times weaker than tretinoin. And I think something like this is great to use when you're younger or when you're just starting out, but I think the goal is to get on a prescription tretinoin and to stay there for the long term, because that's what's really going to make the biggest difference in your skin over time. Now, here in the US, tretinoin is only available by prescription, and so you need to go to your doctor's office, get a prescription, and then go get it filled. I used to get my tretinoin that way. That's how I started off with it, but it didn't work out so great. I started and then I stopped. I did eventually go back on it, and I figured out for myself how to use it so that I didn't have irritation, so that I could continue to use it, and then I started seeing results with it. Now I found a really great service to get my tretinoin from, and it is called Agency. I'm an ambassador for Agency, so this little portion of the video is going to be sponsored by Agency, but this has been such a great service, and I love telling people about it, especially if you don't know that there's a difference between prescription tretinoin and over-the-counter retinol or retinaldehyde. There is a big difference, but not everyone can go see a dermatologist or a doctor to get a prescription, and so this makes getting your tretinoin prescribed so easy and so quick, and they even deliver it right to your house. So all you do is upload a few pictures of yourself. They set you up with a dermatology provider who prescribes your amount of tretinoin in your product, and then they also include 3 other active ingredients in it to help with whatever your skincare concerns are. So you're getting a one-on-one consultation with someone who's going to look at your skin and who's going to see what your problems are and what you want to address with your anti-aging skincare routine. And the other best part is they're going to help you to not make a lot of these mistakes that I'm telling you about here that I made in the past. They're going to tell you to wear sunscreen with it because that's always recommended with a retinoid. They're going to tell you to ease in slowly with it to avoid irritation because that's usually recommended with a retinoid, but not always. I didn't get that recommendation when I started and I stopped using it. So if I had started with agency, it would have been so much better for me because I wouldn't have had these fits and starts and I would have started right on tretinoin. They can also start you at a lower percentage of tretinoin and they can bump you up gradually over time so that you ease in with it and you don't have any problems with your skin. It just makes it so easy and so like painless to use the gold standard, the best heavy hitter of anti-aging, tretinoin, in your skincare routine. So what my mix contains is tretinoin at 0.14%, which is the strongest strength, and I'm so happy to have that in there. It also contains azelaic acid at 5%. That is supposed to help with redness in your skin, and I'm so happy that's in there because it really has calmed and soothed my skin. Then mine also has tranexamic acid at 5%, which is another anti-redness ingredient. And it also contains niacinamide at 4%. And niacinamide is an ingredient that I also really think that anyone who's anti-aging should use on their skin because it really has just such robust research into it showing that it really can help to give your skin brightness and more glow and to reduce wrinkles. So this is going to contain a lot more than what you can get from getting a prescription from your doctor because that cream will just have the tretinoin in it and nothing else. It won't have these other ingredients that are in there to tailor it just for your skin. So if you're interested in giving agency a try, there's a link in the info box below the video. It comes every other month like clockwork. It's delivered right to your house. They notify you whenever you've got a new shipment coming. They check in with you to see how your skin's doing on it. It's really a great service. I love it so much. Skincare mistake number 3 that may be aging you is something that I definitely did and just talked about. It was not being consistent and not giving products long enough to work before stopping using them. So I really wasn't consistent with anything. I'd see a product in a magazine that was advertised and be like, ooh, that looks good, I'll give that a try. I'd try one pot of it, I wouldn't see any difference in my face, and I'd move on to the next thing. But what I've discovered since really doing my skincare routine is that it takes consistency for the products to work and it takes time for them to work. Your skin turns over about every 30 days when you're younger, but the older you get, the longer it takes, and it can take up to 60 days or even 3 months for your skin to completely turn over and to generate new cells and to generate new collagen. So if you're starting something like a tretinoin, for example, and you're looking for collagen production in your skin, you can't expect your skin to just ramp up, start building new collagen, and show the effects of the new collagen on your face in a month or a week or 6 weeks even. It takes months and months and months, especially once you get older, for your skin to show the results of what you're using on it. When I first started with my tretinoin, I didn't see any results really for like 9 months. But then after 9 months, I started seeing more and more results. At a year, 3 years, 5 years, now it's been 10 years. My skin looks better now after 10 years using tretinoin than it did when I started. So consistency is the key. If I had stopped and started and stopped and started, I probably wouldn't have the same results that I'm having now. There are only a handful of things that can actually make your skin produce more collagen. Vitamin C is one, tretinoin is another. The over-the-counter retinols can do it, but they take much longer. So imagine 10 to 20 times slower than tretinoin. Glycolic acid, alpha hydroxy acids, they can do it too. But it takes time for your skin to produce collagen, especially if you're older. It is possible, it can work, but it does take time. So you really need to be consistent and stick with your products and not be jumping around from product to product. Skincare really works best when you get on a good routine and you use it consistently. Skincare mistake number 4 that can age you is using too many new products all at once. Using too many new products at the start all at once, you can have an irritation reaction, you can have an allergic reaction, you can start to break out. There's lots of different ways that your skin can let you know that it's unhappy, but if you start a bunch of different ingredients all at once, you're not going to really know which one caused the problem so that you can back off on that one and strip it out. So it's best to bring in one at a time, at least to start. And I've done a number of videos explaining that you really shouldn't start everything all at once, especially where skincare acids are concerned. The retinoids are acids. Vitamin C is an acid. Alpha hydroxy acids, they're acids. And so those are the ones that especially can be irritating to your skin. Tretinoin and all the retinoids have a reputation for being irritating. The opposite of healthy, glowy, beautiful, good-looking, youthful-looking skin is irritated skin. Irritated skin looks older, it's painful, it can be cracked, it'll definitely look much, much more wrinkly. Now, this isn't the case for all the anti-aging and all the skincare ingredients. You usually don't need time to acclimate to moisturizers or peptides. Hyaluronic acid, even though it has acid in the name, it doesn't act like an irritating acid. It's more of a humectant, and so it's moisturizing to the skin. So there are a lot of ingredients that you can start using right away, but I would be especially careful with starting a retinoid, a vitamin C, and an alpha hydroxy acid all at the same time. Everything else you should be pretty safe with, but just those three, I would just ease in with them one at a time. And mistake number 5 is not knowing what's in your skincare so that you end up using too much of a good ingredient that ends up causing some irritation in your skin. For example, a lot of people are over exfoliating these days because they don't realize that there is an alpha hydroxy acid or a salicylic acid in a lot of their skincare products. You could be washing your face with a glycolic acid cleanser, then you could be putting on a leave-on lactic acid, mandelic acid, or glycolic acid toner, then you could be putting on a serum with another alpha hydroxy acid in it, and a moisturizer with another alpha hydroxy acid in it. I mean, if you don't know how to read an ingredient label and know what you're looking for, you could just be repeating the same ingredient over and over and over again on your skin. Usually with the skincare active ingredients, there's a correct amount that you use it at, and over that amount it either can become irritating or it doesn't really show any effects after that. So with skincare, it's not necessarily a more is more proposition. Sometimes less is more. Niacinamide is a great ingredient. It's one of my favorites, but it's been shown in the research to be really effective up to about 5%. But if it's used in over 5%, it can actually be irritating and cause some redness in the skin. So you really have to be careful because these days, niacinamide is big, and niacinamide is in everything. And you can end up with way too much niacinamide if you use 4 or 5 products and they all have niacinamide in it. And so you really need like a balanced diet for your skin, just like you do for your body. You know, you need lots of different ingredients and you need them all in the right amount. In my skincare routine, it's not all just retinoid and niacinamide. I have all the other ingredients in there that are proven to be the effective ingredients. So I use niacinamide, I use peptides, I use vitamin C, I use alpha hydroxy acids. Ceramides are another great thing for your skin. Glycerin is so good for your skin as a humectant. It's actually better than hyaluronic acid, but hyaluronic acid is the one that gets all the buzz these days. So it's really important, I think, to make sure that you're getting a nice variety of things. So that was all of them. Those are my top 5 skincare mistakes that may be aging your skin. As I said, I've made them all myself, so don't feel bad about anything. And if you learned something here today, give the video a thumbs up. I hope you found it helpful and informative. Of course, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. As always, I thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate you watching. I hope you have a great day, and I will see you in the next video. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.